Hey, y'all. Welcome. I'm Andrea from Andrea Speaks TV, bringing you commentary you can use. I just did a video on food shortages, and I want to come back quickly and give you all another update um, and share with you some news that I actually just read. Before I get into it, you all make sure that you like this video, share this video. This is information that we all need to know about. Thank you all for those who are watching now live, or if you're watching by replay. I appreciate your support. Say hello. Let me know where you tuned in from. Um, this is information that no matter how young, how old you are, I feel like this is information that, potentially could affect us all. Okay. So, you all know right here on the channel, I've talked about food shortages. Let me type something in the chat just a moment. All right. So, I want to welcome everyone to this live broadcast. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Make sure you join so that you can make sure you subscribe so that you can join our community, and you'll be updated and informed whenever I do go live each week. Okay, y'all. So listen up. You all know right here on the channel, I'm just going to get right to it. You all know right here on the channel, I've talked about food shortages, and particularly how saying, this war, so to speak, between Russia and Ukraine. I'm getting more and more reports and information that's saying that this war with Russia and Ukraine is fueling a not only a food crisis, not only a food shortage here in the United States, but it's saying that it is a global. They're saying now that we're on the brink of a global food crisis. Did you all know? And I've actually talked about this on the channel. Did you all know that in the area, Russia, Ukraine, between the two countries, they export the majority of the world's wheat. So I've shared this before. I find it very alarming, concerning that the countries that are at war with each other are some of the countries that provide the majority of the wheat to the world. Okay, so that's another topic. You all let me know your thoughts about that. How is it that these two countries who supply food, a great majority of the wheat to the world, how are they at odds and at war now? A lot of people saying that this is something that was planned, created. You let me know your thoughts on that. But um, food shortages. We talked about right here on the channel how there's a need to get prepared, growing our own food, um, stocking up on canned goods, canning your own food, having an emergency food supply, and survival needs. We've talked about that, right? So I came across an article and I said, well, let me hop back on really quickly. I want to share this article with you just to give you some things to think about. Okay. Thank you all so much for subscribing to the channel. Give me just a moment here. Okay. Let me make sure. Okay. All right. So this article comes from a news source called CBN News. Again, that's CBN News. And the title of the article says Stock Up on Foods. Experts and ministers urge people to prepare for a global famine. Okay, make sure you like this video. Give me a thumbs up. Leave me some feedback in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Okay, so this article was published today, which is June 6, 2022. Again, the title of the article is Stock Up on Foods. Experts, ministers urge people to prepare for a global famine. Okay, so listen to what they're saying in the article. Now, according to the article from CBN News, the article says as prices continue to rise on everything from gas to groceries, experts warn that food is going to be harder to come by in the months ahead, okay, including right here in America. Okay, you all let me know wherever you're watching from. Um, let me know. Are you seeing higher prices in your area? Are you seeing food shortages in your area? Okay, let me know how things are in your particular area. Okay, now some say that the church can lead the way in helping people through the tough times. Okay, I've seen myself firsthand where many churches in my area, have given food drives. Okay, where people just drive through, they pop their trunk, and they're in a box of food. Okay, so and then also I've seen where local community organizations, they have food banks. Okay, so I've seen that in my area. Have you? Let me know in the comments. Okay. All right. Globally, the article says more than 276 million people. Okay, that's a lot of people, isn't it, y'all? 276 million people experience extreme food insecurity. Okay, pushing closer and closer to famine. All right. Uh, Here's a quote by Heather Taylor of an organization called Bread for the World, who said places like Somalia, for example, 90% of their wheat exports come from Russia and Ukraine. That's why I was telling you all, it's quite alarming that the area where the great majority, the area of the world, or the part of the world that's supplying the great majority of our wheat to the world, they're at odds, they're feuding with each other. Okay. So here's a quote by Heather Taylor of Bread for the World, who said places like Somalia, for example, 90% of their wheat exports come from Russia and Ukraine. Okay. Heather Taylor of Bread for the World told CBN News in Egypt, she says 80%, and it's real. Okay. Now, the article says, according to Bread for the World, okay, over 13.8 million people in the US already suffer from food insecurity. Okay, so again, y'all, the topic of food shortages, food insecurity, this is not something that's new. We know, certainly during the pandemic, hard times were placed on a lot of people. Even before the pandemic, people suffered food insecurity. Is it safe to say that food insecurity has been around for quite some time now, even before the pandemic? But it's just that when the pandemic happened, it's like it further exacerbated that. Okay, it made it even more of a huge crisis. Okay, thank you all so much for your support. Okay, now the article says right now about 65% of the 200 food banks in the Feeding America network are seeing a greater demand for food assistance. Okay. Taylor said the problem is likely to affect vulnerable populations even more. All right. Here in the United States, this is a quote. It says here in the United States, about 13 million children presently are experiencing hunger. And as food prices go up, as inflation continues to increase, gas prices, it all has a compound effect. Okay. Here's a quote from a pastor in Minneapolis, Pastor Joshua Giles, Giles of Kingdom Embassy Church in Minneapolis. He has been warning of a coming food shortage for several years. Okay. He writes about in his book, Prophetic Forecast Insights for Navigating the Future to Align with Heaven's Agenda. He was quoted as saying, when we cross over from 2019 into 2020, the Holy Spirit spoke to me about a decade of shortages. Okay, this is according to the pastor. Um, and he said, and in a vision, I walked into the store in my time of prayer, and the shelves, he said, were completely empty. Okay. He pointed to the biblical story of Joseph as an example of how the church should respond to the crisis while preparing to help others. Okay. The pastor was quoted as saying, I do believe that we can start to purchase certain things and store them up, which I've been doing. I'm sure many of you have been doing who support the channel. And he said, but the pastor was quoted as saying, I'm not encouraging people to panic buy at all. But what I'm saying, just use the wisdom of God. Okay. He was quoted as saying, when we read about Joseph in scripture, he endured one of the greatest famines in history, and the Lord gave them strategies and insight on how to navigate that famine, but also how to thrive in the midst of it. Okay. John LeBlanc of Cedarville University offers advice on practical ways to prepare. And he was quoted as saying, I think people need to do two things. Okay, said LeBlanc. He's saying that they need to stock up on foods that are not going to spoil, and canned goods and packaged goods, so on and so forth, and anything that can be put into the freezer. Okay. And if the power goes out, the article says, he suggested investing in a generator, and he also mentions extra gasoline. Okay. So I've told you all, and I've shared with you all right here on the channel, just get a few on the channel, about how, we need to look into solar energy, okay, as an alternate form of electricity. Okay. Solar energy being energy that comes from the sun. Okay. All right. Giles said that spiritual preparation is also vital. He says, I believe what we see happening naturally mirrors what's going on spiritually. He explained, I would encourage every believer to take this as an opportunity to draw closer to Jesus Christ. He was also quoted saying to make sure that we strengthen our relationship with the Lord so that we can hear his word and be connected to him like never before. Okay, I think those are some very good words. It is a sentiment, the article says, that LeBlanc shares. As Christians know, it's all in the Lord's control, but that doesn't mean you just ignore it. Okay. All right. So again, y'all, this information comes from CBN News. Okay. And again, the title of the article says stock up on foods. Experts, ministers are urging people to prepare for the global famine. Okay, so I'm going to keep you updated on the topic of food shortages. You all make sure you subscribe to the channel. Not only should you subscribe to the channel, but also make sure you hit all notifications. That way, when I do go live, you'll be able to stay informed and stay connected. Okay, and learn as much as possible. All right, y'all, stay tuned. I'll be coming back live again soon. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your Monday night to tune in and get this knowledge and information. Let me know your thoughts and comments. Do you agree or disagree with what the pastors, the experts, the ministers are saying? Do you agree, disagree? I agree with a lot of things that they shared. This is a time where, there's so much going on in the world that it could be very easy to get discouraged, to feel like, am I doing too much? Am I not doing enough? There may be some people who want to do more, but, for whatever reasons, whether it's financial, maybe they're not physically able to do it. They may feel like, what, it's no way that I could do this, do this or do that. But I want to tell you all to, and I'm taking my own advice, to continue to be encouraged. I do believe that we're going to get through the times that we're living in. We're going to thrive through the times that we're living in. But I think that all of us, in some form or fashion, we need to be taking steps to prepare. Not saying that you got to go out and spend a whole lot of money. Some things are very practical. It could be as simple as making sure that you have batteries for a flashlight. Picking up a few canned goods. If you can't get a lot of stuff at one time, each time you go to the grocery store, buy a little here, buy a little bit there. And don't forget about things like, coupons. From my understanding, they're still printing coupons. You know how you get the coupons in the paper, or sometimes you get the coupons on the websites. You can save that way. And also places, I know in my area, we have like Kroger. You can sign up for their loyalty program, and they usually give you savings there. So, we got to start thinking about um, practical, realistic, uh, everyday things that we can, do to prepare. Okay. All right, y'all. So I'll be back again soon with another live broadcast. I will be talking about food rationing, how that is a very real possibility. And I say that because it's happening right here or not right here in the United States as of right now, but it is happening in other parts of the world. And so I want to talk to you about food rationing, describe and show you what that looks like, so that's something that maybe you want to prepare for as well. Not saying that it's going to happen. It has happened in the past here in the United States, specifically around, I believe it is World War II. Food rationing was put into place to allow the military to have the items that they need and to assist with the war. So hey, they say history repeats itself. They say we can learn a lot from history. So we're going to travel back in time. We're going to look at what happened around World War I, World War II, see what we can learn from it, specifically when it comes to food rationing. and that will help us prepare for the times we're living in today. So thank you all so much. I'm Andrea from Andrea Speaks TV, and I'll be back live again soon. Thank y'all. Stay tuned.